and welcome to my channel. Today I am going to teach you how to make these super cute herringbone stitch pumpkins. This is a big guy that I made, and this is like a little guy that I made, and today we're going to make one just a slightly bigger than this little guy. So the supplies that you are going to need are chunky yarn, any color that you would like, a needle, your hook, scissors, cinnamon sticks. I like to use cinnamon sticks for my stem, but you are welcome to use whatever you would like. And then twine or anything that also you would like to use to make the little bow. Okay, so to get started, we are going to chain 20. For this big guy, I chained 31. And then if you would like to make this little one, I chained 17. So since we're going to make one a slightly bigger than the little one, we're going to chain 21 today. Now, to start off, you are going to want to leave a long enough tail so that when we get ready to cinch everything in together, you have a long tail to cinch in the bottom. So I like to just go like this to where I hold it in my thumb and my pointer finger, and I put it up to my elbow, and that is usually a perfect length for me. Now make our slip knot, and then let's chain 21. And we're chaining 21 because the one stitch is for a turning chain. I like to work with even amounts of chains when I'm doing this. That's just a preference for me. But if you want to make a pumpkin a little bit bigger, just chain more chains and make sure you leave one for a turning chain. So today I'm going to do 21. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21. Okay, so I have my 21 chains. And before we move on, I want to tell you kind of like the recipe of making a pumpkin. So your chains are going to be the height of the pumpkin. Like I said, I chained 17, so that was the height of my pumpkin. So basically, it's just going to go up just like that. And then the amount of rows that you make are going to be kind of like the roundness and thickness of your pumpkin. So this one I did 15 rows. And if you want your pumpkin to be a little bit skinnier, you will do less rows. My rule of thumb is however many chains that I make, not including my turning chain, I do one less. So for today, we chained 21. One is for the turning chain, so we're going to be working in 20 stitches. So that means I'm going to do 19 rows. So let's get started with doing the herringbone stitch in our chain row. So you're going to skip your first stitch, and if you need a slower demonstration on how to do the herringbone stitch, I will link the how-to video below. So we're going to single crochet into our second hump, and then I will show a quick demonstration on how to do the herringbone stitch. You are going to insert your hook into that last leg. Then you're going to insert your hook into that next hump, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, and pull through all 3. I would do that one more time. Insert your hook into that last leg. Insert your hook into the next hump. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3. Now I am going to herringbone stitch all the way until the end. So I just finished doing my herringbone stitches until my last stitch, and now we're going to move on to row 2. You're going to chain 1, reverse single crochet into the first stitch, and then herringbone stitch all the way down. So to do, I will show one on camera. So you insert your hook into that last leg, reverse insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, pull through all 3. So one more time, insert your hook into that last leg, insert your hook the reverse way into your next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through all 3. So you are going to continue doing herringbone stitches for 19 rows. And then once you get to the 19th row, I will show you how to slip stitch everything together and form your pumpkin. Now if you made more stitches, you're going to do however many rows that you would like, but if you want your pumpkin to be round, do the amount of rows that you chained -1. So if you did chain 30 rows, 31 with your turning chain being 1, but you're working into 30 stitches. So if you're working into 30 stitches, you're going to do 29 rows. If you're working into 16 stitches, you're going to do 15 rows. But for this tutorial, if you're following along with me and chain the same amount of stitches, you are going to do 19 rows, and then we're going to cinch this all together. Alright, welcome back. So I finished up 19 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. And during finishing up those 19 rows, I lost 2 yarn chicken. So I'm going to end up slip stitching this together with the orange yarn. It happens. So now that you have your 19 rows done, you are going to sandwich your work like this. Put your work together like this with your right side facing each other. So your wrong side should be facing you. And this is the reason why I do an odd number, so that this starting tail and then your end tail, when you get done slip stitching, ends on opposite sides. So that this side right here can cinch the bottom part of your pumpkin, and then this side right here can cinch the top part of your pumpkin. I think it's just easier so you don't have to keep cutting yarn and then adding it to your work. So you are going to sandwich your work with your right sides together. Then you are going to get my hook. You are going to chain 1. That is where I had to add my yarn. And then you are going to slip stitch all the way down. Just like that. Alright, so I like to slip stitch in the front loop of your the work that's closest to you, like this panel that's closest to you. And then I like to put it into my back loop of the back panel. And I will show you how I do that. So I just insert my hook into the front loop of the first panel, and then I insert my hook into the back loop of the back panel. And I feel like you get like a seamless seam when you do it this way, and you will see when we flip it inside out. So, and then you just slip stitch just like that. Let's go to the next one. Front loop, and then the back loop, and slip stitch it. The front loop of the first panel, and then the back loop of the back panel. And then you are going to do that all the way down. And I think this way is just a lot easier. And then like how I'm using a different color yarn, you won't be able to see that much. Alright, so finish slip stitching all the way down until you get to your last stitch. Alright, so I am at my last stitch, and all I'm going to do is slip stitch into those two, and then I am going to chain one, and this is where we're going to fasten off. So my rule of thumb of how much yarn you should cut and leave a tail is the size of your work plus around 2 or so inches more. So just like this, I just put my yarn right here, and then I move my fingers down to kind of guess where 2 inches would be, and then that's where I cut my yarn. And you need it to be this long because you're going to have to close up the top, and then I bring the yarn back down to the bottom, and I will show you. Alright, so let's fasten that off. Now you are going to want to turn your work inside out so your right side is facing out. And this is what I'm talking about when you do the slip stitch and the front loop and back loop. Look at that seam. I don't know. I always love a really good seam. And it matches right in with the pattern, and even though I used a different yarn, unless I stuff this like ridiculous, you won't even be able to tell. But I'm kind of really liking that orange popping through. Okay, anyways, so now you need your knitting needle, or I mean your darning needle, and we are going to close up the bottom part first. And how I do that, I just go in and out. I don't have any rhyme or reason on where I place my needle when doing it, but I just go in like this on the outside, bring it in, then I come in from the inside, and then I just do that all the way around. And you can kind of close it as you go, or you can wait until you get back to your starting part. Just like this. Making pumpkins are so easy, especially if you use chunky yarn, and then they're easy to work up. So if you do like markets and stuff, you can pop out probably a good maybe 5 pumpkins in one day, and then you can change the colors too, which is pretty cool. Alright, I am almost back to the top. There we go. And then all you do is take your work and you cinch it close, just like if you were cinching close a beanie top, just like that. And then I take my needle, and at first I close up here by just going back and forth a couple of times, or going around the circle. I don't have a really specific way on how I do this. And then I stick my needle inside of that little hole right there, and I pull it through like that, and kind of turn it inside out, and I just do a couple of times in the inside just to make sure that it's closed. Then I just tie a knot, and that's done. And I don't cut this piece of yarn off, I just stick it right in there because we're going to be stuffing that anyways. And then this is what it should look like so far with cinching in your bottom part. Alright, so now I forgot to mention in the beginning of the video of supplies that you need. You are going to need stuffing. I'm pretty sure that was pretty obvious, but I forgot to say it. So now, just stuff your pumpkin. I like to break my stuffing up. And so how I stuff mine, I make a base to figure out how kind of thick and wide I want, and I just play around with it like this to kind of get my shape started at the bottom, because once you get your shape started at the bottom, it's pretty easy to just, you know, follow that and stuff the rest of the way up. Alright, so stuff your pumpkin until you get to the top, and then we will close this off, and then that will be it. Alright, so I just finished stuffing my pumpkin, and this is what it looks like. You know, I just play around with it to make the round shape. Now let's close off, cinch the top part together. Now you're going to just do the same thing that you did at the bottom, and you're just going to go in and out. There's no specific way on how to do this. Just go in and out of the top stitches. Just like this. Now when we cinch up this top part, we're going to leave just a little hole at the top, and I will show you what I mean, so that you can put your cinnamon stick in, or whatever you choose to use. I like to use the cinnamon stick because I feel like it gives it a really nice fall scent to your pumpkin. And I think that's just a little extra touch to it that I like to do. Alright, and I am back to the top. So then all you do again is close it up, and then you have this little hole here. And then before I finish closing up, I like to just make sure it's round. You know, move the stuffing around, make sure I don't need to add any more or take out any. Close up that hole. Then you're going to just leave a little hole. It doesn't need to be big because you always can stuff the stick in there, but just make sure it's just a tiny little hole right there. And then I like to take my needle to kind of secure closing it. I like to take it around like this. Kind of make sure I'm continuing closing it up. There we go. And then I make a little knot. I'm going to try to hide that orange. And then you are going to want to take your needle and put it through that hole so that we can get to the bottom part hole right here. So keep messing around with it until you feel like it's in there. I know it's kind of hard, especially if you put a lot of stuffing in there like I did. But I kind of stick my finger in there to try to feel for a needle. So it would be really a good idea if you used kind of like a longer needle than you would usually do. Then Then I just pull it through like that, and I kind of pull it kind of tight so I can make like a dent up top like that, if you can tell. So here it is, not pulling, and then there I am pulling it. So then I pull it and I kind of hold it with this hand to keep that tension. Then I make a knot with it down here. Here. I'm gonna make the knot kind of like in the middle. put that back through. There we go. This is all kind of like your preference on where you want to make it. I like to make it kind of in the middle. And then I make sure I pull it one more time and I tie it, make that knot just like that. And now you have like a dent at the top where your stick will go. And it makes it just look so pretty doing it that way. Now I just make one more knot just to secure it, like that. There we go. And then I go through right here, bring the yarn through, and then you can cut it off, or you can kind of stuff it back in there. That little piece back in there, and then there you go. Now all you have to do is add your cinnamon stick, and I got these cinnamon sticks from Walmart for $3, and I got quite a few of them, and they smell like cinnamon, so it's not like one of those things where you buy it and it has no scent at all. Put your little stick right inside of that hole that we made earlier. Then get your ribbon or whatever you would like to use. Take it. I like to start off like this, going around, and then I crisscross it right here, and then I take one and then I wrap it around, making sure it's even, and then I make a little bow. Like that. Make a little bow like that, and then that's it. And here is your cute little pumpkin. How cute is that? And it was quick. It takes like 30 minutes to make. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to comment below. I would love to see your little pumpkins. You can tag me on social media. It's the Stitch Mystic everywhere. And I will also have a written pattern for this on my blog. I'm thinking later this week, and I will link that below. But here is your little pumpkin. Happy fall, y'all. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and turn on your notifications so that you will know when I come out with new patterns. Bye.